Hi babies, so I'm gonna make a very short video for you guys today compared to my other ones, hopefully, because I'm a talker. So I hope this is gonna be a nice short video for you guys so that you guys can enjoy just a little bit of my face during quarantine. Today's video is gonna be about mental health, so don't get scared away, listen to the video. Be nice to yourselves, go get your tea, come on back, relax, put your hair in a little bun, get comfortable, okay? Specifically, it's going to be about bipolar disorder. So, also, just as a little thing for you guys, I'm sitting in front of my window just to get the best lighting possible, and I live in a complex, like with a bunch of like houses. Like we have a gated community and then we're just like a separate like community too, and so the houses are like pretty like close to each other. I think I can just show you, maybe I can just show you. Okay, so I live in and the houses are really nice and they're real cute, but I live where the street is my room. So everybody and their mother is out walking today and walking their dogs, and so I get very distracted when I see animals, okay? And I'm very sorry, but that's just, it is what it is, all right? So let's just say that. So if you see me looking down and doing, I'm gonna try not to, because you know, I'm trying to be a professional YouTuber. But dogs, right? Dogs. I mean, hello, they're puppies. They're little doggos. So I'm gonna try. Anyway, so the video is going to be about bipolar disorder, and I can only speak on what I know, and I have actually been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. It's not something that you should be ashamed of. It's not something that I'm ashamed of. It's not something that I hide. If you ask me, I'll tell you, because in the world, specifically in the Black community, I think we need to be a little bit more forgiving of people with mental issues. I think we need to get rid of a lot of the stigma that surrounds bipolar disorder, anxiety, depression, any type of mental illness. I think we need to just get to the point where we're more forgiving and it's more acceptable if people say they have it. So on that note, let's jump right into this video. So I have my laptop right here, as you can see. Bam. And I just have a couple of notes just so I don't get too distracted and I can always come back to it. So the first thing is, whenever I do public speaking events or public speaking classes, I had to take a public speaking class. In my journalism major, we had to take public speaking classes. So whenever I do that, I like to, if there's a term or if there's a definition or some type of statistic or anything like that, I like to get it out there. I like to not just jump into, you know, what can you do and you know, just jumping into the meat of the information. I like to kind of explain what bipolar is and what it is not. So, by definition, bipolar disorder is a mental health condition that causes extreme mood swings that include emotional highs, mania or hypomania, and lows or depression. So, I think there is a big stigma behind bipolar disorder. I was even afraid at one point in time to even say that I had it, because I thought everybody would think that I would, you know, one minute be smiling and laughing with them, and then the next minute go into like a blind rage. And that's not how bipolar disorder is. Oh, see, like she's walking huskies, and one of them is all white and the other one is like the typical black and white husky color, and how can I not get distracted by that? Anyway, the stigma behind bipolar disorder is absolutely alarming, even for me, because I was afraid to say that yes, I have bipolar disorder and own it. And at one point in time, I said that I didn't. I said that I didn't need therapy for it because I don't have it. I don't need medication because I don't have it. And that was more detrimental to me. And when I kind of figure out, you know what, Sydney, We're gonna own everything we've been through, all of our trauma, all of our mental issues. We're gonna own it, because the only way that you can fix something is recognizing that you have it and then taking the necessary precautions and the necessary steps to fix it. So, okay. So we got interrupted, but anyway, I think the stigma just behind it is really upsetting almost, because once you are like, you know what, I have this and time to work on it and time to, you know, get some things figured out about myself. People, as you start to own it, as you start to say, yeah, I have it, I'm unapologetic about it, I'm not gonna shy away from it because somebody thinks that I'm crazy. Like, I don't care, like, whatever. You go over there and do you, and I'm gonna be over here and I'm gonna do me. And people were like, okay, cool. That's awesome. But in the back of my mind, I was like, they think you're crazy, girl. They think you're gonna punch them. They think that you're gonna laugh 1 minute and then, you know, sucker punch them the next. And that for me is something that I had to get over. So first things first, if you have bipolar disorder, you are brave, number one, for dealing with it. It is not an easy thing to say that you have problems. Nobody wants to admit that. Nobody wants to say, you know what, this is my problem and I have it. Nobody wants to do that, and nobody wants to put a mirror up to their face and say, this is something that I have and I'm okay with it, and I'm not apologizing to society because I have trauma and this is what my trauma did, and that's that. And you shouldn't be ashamed at all. Nobody should shame you into shying away from saying that you have what you have, whether you have anxiety or depression or bipolar disorder or borderline personality disorder. Anything that you have, it's a piece of you. It's not a bad thing. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a horrible person. It doesn't make you crazy. And I think that's one thing that people struggle with, is the fact that they think because they own that they, or say that they have a mental issue, that they're kind of admitting that they're crazy. And that is not the case at all. Sometimes, you know, bipolar disorder can get really intense, and I encourage everyone, if you are not on medication, get on medication. This is coming from a 20-year-old that has lived with bipolar disorder for 20 years. I've had it most of what I can remember, so I say all my life, and I didn't want to be on medication. I am big on holistic things, and oh, I'm gonna meditate it away. It didn't work, okay? It did not work. Meditating and isolating myself to get a breath of fresh air and what I thought I was doing was not working. And still I said no to medication. I saw that it wasn't working and I said no. And I was like, no, I'm gonna try this other thing, or I'm gonna try that over there, I'm gonna try this over here, and it did not work. And finally, I let go of everything that I was holding on to. I let go of the stigma that I thought was surrounding medication, and I got on some medication, okay? And it has worked amazingly, and I love the medication that I'm on. Medication, luckily for me, it didn't take long for it to improve my situation, but for a lot of people, you can try 10 different medications. I won't say 10 different medications, I'll say 3. You can try 3 different medications, and one of them works for you, but this happens. And this one works okay, but I don't really like how it makes me feel. And that one doesn't work at all. But I still encourage you to keep trying. Keep pushing medication. Keep putting yourself on medication. Keep up the work. It's hard work to find a medication that works for you. But I promise you that once you find it, you are going to thank your lucky stars that you are on it. So, let's move on to what you can do during this quarantine to help yourself if you have bipolar disorder like I do. I'm saying bipolar disorder because I specifically have it. It is something that I deal with on a day-to-day basis, and so these are the things that have helped me. But honestly, it can help you if you're just depressed or if you have anxiety. It can help, you know, people who don't necessarily have depression, but just kind of notice like they're out of their regular routine and it's kind of taking a toll on them mentally. So the first thing is therapy. I'm a big advocate for therapy. You will never hear me say don't get on therapy, because you need to be on therapy. Everyone, it doesn't matter if you have a mental illness, if you have the strongest mental health ever, you still need to be on therapy. You don't need to take medicine necessarily for whatever you're dealing with unless your doctor prescribes it, your psychiatrist prescribes it, and your psychologist thinks that it's okay. But everyone needs a therapist. So I know that therapy is hard to come by, especially a good therapist. Good therapy takes quite some time to find. It is not the best trial and error situation. I'm gonna be honest, you guys. It was something, it gets to the point where you're almost like, at this point, you know, I don't even want a therapist. It's so much work to find the right one and to find one that helps me and all of these other things, and I don't like her, and it takes work, you guys. And I really wish it wasn't that way, but once you find a good therapist, you need to stick with them. Lucky for me, because of this whole quarantine thing, my therapist sees me online. We actually just got off of a Zoom call. Or it wasn't Zoom, it's something else. Let me get it right for you guys. It is called doxy.me. So that's what we did ours on. You can do it on Zoom too if you have a therapist that is that still you still want to go see. I would definitely recommend seeing if they do online sessions, because therapy is very important. Actually, like I said before, got off of a call with my therapist earlier, so we had a session today. I love it. Having somebody to talk to that's not your family, that's not your boyfriend, that's not your friends, that's not whoever you might be close with, or a coworker or something. Having somebody that is professionally trained to deal with mental issues is very, very important. So the second thing is, for those of you that are lucky enough to have a supportive family, I do understand that, oh, they have a little pit bull. I do understand that not every family is supportive, and just to kind of say that out of my mouth makes me really, really sad, because I wish every family was supportive, and I am lucky enough to have a family that is very supportive of me and my dreams and my mental health issues and different things like that. They're just supportive of me and what I want to do and who I see myself as. But not everybody has that privilege, and it is a privilege. But if you do have the privilege of having a supportive family that you can keep in constant communication, if you are, let's say you're older, like in college like I am, talk to them, FaceTime them, text them, check on them, say, hey, how are you doing? How is, especially during this whole quarantine things, people are stuck in their houses. Well, some people are going out. But some people, especially if they're older, are stuck in their houses, and, you know, there is a big, big issue, I personally believe, when you are stuck in the house with really no outside air, no fresh air, no sun. That impacts your mental health. So check on your family, even if they, you know, go outside and sit on their back porch. Encourage them to just go outside for a little while, not go, you know, if they're like going to the store or something, but just encourage them to maybe open a window or open their blinds, or just make sure there's constant, you know, natural light coming in, because that really does affect your mental health. So the other thing is, if you have the privilege of having, you know, supportive family, talk to them. And also, if you have the privilege to go along with that, and you have really nice friends and really supportive friends, and or a supportive boyfriend or girlfriend, talk to them. If you live with your boyfriend, great for you. You are lucky. If you live with your girlfriend, great for you. You are lucky. And for my non-binaries out there, if you live with your spouse, okay, good for you. You are lucky. But talk to them, see if they're doing okay, because I think people have the kind of weird thing about them where they don't, inside their head, they don't think that anybody cares enough to know what's going on up there. And let them know that you do. If your boyfriend is quiet, if your girlfriend is quiet, if your spouse is quiet, if you're not putting any labels on it, if they quiet, you know, check on them, see if they're okay, see if, you know, they need water. You need to stay hydrated. You don't need to be in the house dehydrated, drinking apple juice, orange juice, and Mountain Dew all day. You need water, okay? Check on their hygiene. One thing for me, when I get to my real lows, my depressive moods, I have the tendency to not care about brushing my teeth, about showering, about getting out of bed, about opening blinds. And so make sure that their hygiene is okay. Make sure that they at least are, you know, getting out of bed. Don't let people just sit in bed all day, because that impacts mental health so much. So another thing is, make sure you are properly self-caring, okay? I think a lot of people are like, oh yes, self-care, care for yourself, drink some tea, and then they don't kind of like step that process out and tell you what self-care is, even for them, so you could try a little something. So I'm gonna tell you what self-care is to me. So my self-care is, like I said, when I get into my depressive lows, I don't brush my teeth, I don't get out of bed, I don't shower, I don't clip my fingernails, I don't do my hair, I don't do my makeup, what else do I do? I don't care about anything else but being depressed. And that is a very, very powerful statement, because I think it's important to let people know that these are the things that I go through, and I'm not ashamed. I understand that people shower 42 times a day, but when I'm depressed, I just don't. And I can't explain why my brain doesn't even think about it. I just don't do it. And I've heard of other people doing the same thing, and it made me feel better. So maybe if you're out there and you don't do that, I don't do it either, and it's okay. And we just have to stay on top of ourselves and push ourselves. If you know you're going through depression, push yourself to get in the shower. Push yourself to run a bath, even if you just sit in the bath and you don't even want to stand up in the shower. I understand it. You're tired. I get it. I've been there. And so going the extra mile to say, you know what? Your pits are stinky. Let's get in the shower, kid. This much just goes a long way when it comes to your mental health. So I keep up on brushing my teeth during this time. In quarantine, it is very highly likely that people are depressed and being locked up in their houses. And that's okay. But you just have to stay on top of yourself to say, you know what? I'm not gonna let this get the best of me. And you just push yourself to do things that you like. Reading a book, going online. Maybe if you're a creative, if you're an artist, writing poetry. I write poetry. I have a poetry blog that I will link under this video. I paint. I do a bunch of like artistry stuff, just pushing yourself to do just a little bit more, even when you know you don't feel like it. So brushing your teeth, showering, taking care of your face, your skin, making sure that you're not popping pimples and giving yourself acne scars and things of that nature. Exercising. Listen, I'm not the one for exercise. I have to have a gym buddy because I need somebody to hold me accountable, but I do not exercise. Sydney does not exercise by herself. Sydney might do, you know, a little run up and down the steps, and that is my daily exercise. But if you are an exercise nut and the gyms aren't open and you're like, what am I supposed to do? Look up. I know there's a lot of people now that are coming up with like at-home fitness plans. So look up some at-home fitness plans. I know there's a lot of girls on YouTube that I follow their fitness, and I'm gonna link her video below because I absolutely love it. I have to dig through my history to find it, but I'm gonna link that video below, and it helps me so much. And then look at people that are your body type and say, hey, what do I want to work on? Okay, I want to work on this. Let me YouTube it. If you can type anything into YouTube, it's gonna be there. Cats wearing hats, playing the piano. I bet you there's a YouTube video about it because there's a YouTube video about everything. So look up some things on YouTube. Look up, you know, exercise things or how do you properly self-care, anything like that. Another thing is, for me and for a lot of girly girls out there, is doing your nails and doing your hair. I think it is a very prime time for us to start doing our own nails, start doing our own hair. And Amazon, if you get on Amazon, you can find anything on Amazon. You can find nail tips, nail glue, the UV light, the powder, the stuff to make the powder stick. You can find crystals and jewelry and stickers and a bunch of stuff. So find anything that you can find. Partner up with some friends and say, hey, if you buy this, I'll do this, and we're gonna learn how to do our nails together. Just anything that you can do to take care of yourself, do it, because there is really no need, and we can't afford at this time, especially if you're in college and you are struggling with mental health, being home, being locked up in your house. It's stressful, number one. It's depressing, not really going out and just things of that nature. It can be depressing, and that is just a fact. And it's okay if you are staying on top of yourself and just doing little things that make you happy. And the last thing for me is meditation. So I know I did mention meditation earlier. I do know that it's relatively hard. I've been hearing to meditate for a lot of people because they can't get their mind to and focus, and I totally get that. But one thing that you can do is maybe like light a candle and close your eyes and think about how great the candle smells, and think about, oh, like the fire must be really hot, oh, the smoke is black, oh, the candle's pink, oh, but it has a blue stripe in it. And just get your mind, you know, used to thinking about one thing, one item at a time, and keep doing that. Keep thinking about, you know, whether you open up the curtains and open up a window and, oh, the breeze feels really cool. I wonder how the grass feels out there. I wonder, you know, just different things like that. And if that's too depressing because you can't go outside, don't do it. Don't focus on outside. Don't, if it's gonna depress you, if it's gonna leave you in a funk, don't do it, okay? But I'm trying to think of some more things. I know a lot of people have a lot of things that they do for self-care. I have a couple of different things that I do for self-care. I do makeup, I do lashes, I do a lot of different things. So just make sure that you are staying on top of your mental health during this time in quarantine. Make sure that you are staying on top of other people's mental health with this whole quarantine thing. I think this whole coronavirus thing has really scared people, And if anything, this is not the time to be scared. It's the time to stay up on what is making you scared and stay up on your own mental health. It's not the time to be afraid. It is not the time to have any type of fear. Make sure you are staying up on any old person in your life, any young person in your life, just people in general. People need love during this time, and we all need to stick together and send love and be positive and be nice to each other. I know that this has kind of brought about a lot of political issues for a lot of people, and I love politics, but don't be mean, don't be cruel. You can call things out and say your opinion politically without tearing people down. So remember to be the positivity that you want to see in the world, and put a smile on somebody's face today. Bye, babies.